As a small boy, I often lay awake through air raids, hoping a bomb wouldn't drop on the house. It grounded my mind in everyday reality, so I soon became aware of subsequent threats. People still do not realize that the Cold War was fought on two fronts, military and psychological. While the West has been led to believe it won, only the danger of nuclear annihilation was lifted. The psychological war continues. The sedition of the West, with its Orwellian restriction of individual liberty, has been conducted so gradually that none born since the war realizes what has happened. Burgeoning bureaucracy, the smoking ban, and petty health and safety regulations are examples of the infringement of civil liberty that are increasingly constraining our lives. It is the young men of today, those of you who make videos for YouTube, for example, who are going to have to cope with the consequences. I'm making this video to give you all some high ground from which to take stock and plan a strategy. The first thing that everyone must realize is that the most fundamental scientific observation that anyone can make is that the world is bigger than people. Call it nature, call it God, call it Allah, call it what you will. It's the same for absolutely everyone, regardless of race, color, class, or creed. To quote from the American Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The KGB used this core of American identity as the cornerstone of its strategy by vigorously endorsing equality. But liberty and happiness ran rather contrary to the game plan. Those who have been duped by the psychological Cold War identify themselves by making much of equality. Human beings are indeed created equal in that they all eat, drink, poop, and piddle. But the fact of the matter is that there is a hierarchy innate in the social structure of our order, from chimpanzees to people. Individuals vary in their degree of physical, intellectual, and emotional maturity. They vary in the talents and skills they develop. They vary in the knowledge and wisdom they acquire. They vary in the occupational responsibility they shoulder. The concept of equality is fundamentally flawed, and those who espouse it are living in a dream world. The British democratic tradition is both a system of ideas and a way of life. As such, it amounts to a religion. It has evolved over centuries to place checks and balances on those with a passion for more power than they know how to handle. It is the transcendental philosophy that defeated Napoleon and Hitler. Now it confronts socialist imperialism. Once upon a time, democracy meant government of the people, by the people, for the people. The vote was only the beginning of a process. In recent decades, democracy has become government of the majority, by the majority, for the majority. But the majority consists of ordinary people who lack the learning needed to manage the wider world. They rely on minorities for health, education, and justice, for example. This is the responsibility of the professions, doctors, teachers, and lawyers, who deal directly with people rather than mere goods and chattels like businessmen. Then there are other minorities, such as farmers who grow our food, military officers who defend the realm, and diplomats who manage international relations. Overlooked has been the fact that these minorities are not elite masters of the people, but their servants. The professions have been relentlessly hounded in the name of equality, and denied the privileges they need to do their jobs. The vote has been abused as an instrument of oppression. Egalitarianism has thereby diminished the quality of care of the workers. Moreover, by promoting equality, inferior personalities have been elevated to a status that they are not equipped to handle. We are now governed by bigoted ideology rather than democratic tradition. What has been forgotten is that the affairs of people do not stop and start with elections. With nature in overall control, the needs of nature have to be considered alongside the interests of people in the management of our lives. No government can call itself truly democratic unless nature itself is enfranchised. This requires people of independent means with a vested interest in the past, present and future. In Britain, a worldly aristocracy rooted in history used to perform this function, but the comrades regard a hereditary upper house as elitist and undemocratic. In the final analysis, everyone is superior, equal or inferior to others in many different ways. A poor man, for example, is superior to a rich man when it comes to surviving on nothing. In order to play their part in the community, everyone must learn from their superiors, teach their inferiors, equal their equals, and be trustworthy and dependable. The situation is very serious. The economy is reeling from debts run up by parliamentary dictatorship over decades. The more people who see this video and reflect on it, the better. If you agree, please bring it to the attention of your friends and subscribers by posting a bulletin link